Well, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. If you're watching this video around the time I'm releasing it, it's the dead of winter in the northern hemisphere. As I'm sure you're aware, if you live anywhere that gets cold in the winter. So today, we're talking about heat pumps. Even though most heat pumps run exclusively on electricity, they somehow still manage to be cheaper to run than electric heat, which is the only form of heat that's 100% efficient. How do they accomplish that? Let me explain. In spite of the fact that electricity is one of the most expensive forms of heat for a home, unlike virtually all other forms of heat, it's 100% efficient. Oil and gas have losses because they expel the combustion gases outside. When they do that, some of the heat goes with it. Even with that loss, heating with either is usually significantly cheaper than heating with electricity, and way less of a hassle than heating with even cheaper wood, which is also very inefficient, by the way. Those trees don't cut, chop, stack, and feed the furnace themselves, you know. Heat pumps, on the other hand, generally use electricity to operate, but still come out on par or even less than the cheapest fossil fuel heating options. How do they do that? When electric heat is 100% efficient, but is still more expensive than the fossil fuel options. Well, by being more than 100% efficient. Which means for every watt of electricity consumed, they are releasing up more than a watt of energy into the home, often 2 to 4 times what electric heat alone can do. How a heat pump does it is in plain sight right in its name. It pumps heat, rather than generating it like an electric heater does. Where does it get it? Well, if you're lucky enough to be rich, or at least very dedicated, you may have what's called a ground source heat pump. Even in the dead of winter, the ground several feet down stays approximately the same temperature year-round, so you can pump heat from the ground into your house. Most people can't afford, or at least can't justify the cost of a ground source heat pump. However, there is a cheaper option. That's an air source heat pump. It has a unit outside and an air handler inside, just like an AC. It then pumps the heat into the house from the outside. Well, how does it do that when it's way colder outside than it is inside? Well, I already gave you a hint. It does it like an AC. Actually, exactly like an AC, because an AC is a heat pump that only works one way. ACs pump hot air from the inside of the home to the usually hotter air outside the home using a refrigerant. The refrigerant is compressed in the unit outside with a compressor. As many people are aware, compressing a gas generates heat. The now very hot refrigerant gas is then run through a radiator in the outside air, which is now colder than the refrigerant is. So the refrigerant releases heat and cools down. Because it cooled down, the refrigerant condenses into a liquid and flows to the air handler inside the home, where it's allowed to expand in a radiator, which absorbs heat and evaporates, cooling the home. From there, it travels back outside as a gas to be compressed again, and continue the cycle. A heat pump works exactly the same way, except with the one alteration. It has a valve that allows the homeowner to choose which radiator, the inside or the outside one, is used to absorb or release heat. So heat pumps have an added benefit of being able to act as an AC in the hot summer as well. You get 2 for the price of 1. If you're a homeowner and you're getting or replacing an old AC, get an air source heat pump. It's the same cost as an AC, but you can heat your home as well. You have nothing to lose. And no, heat pump manufacturers are not sponsoring this video. So what's the catch? Well, just like ACs, when it gets really cold, air source heat pumps don't work as well. I've got one that isn't all that efficient, and it's able to heat down to about 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, at which point it runs continuously. And if it gets any colder, it can't keep up, and the house starts to cool down, at which point you need some kind of supplemental heat to make up the difference, which is usually electric heat. However, if you're replacing or upgrading an existing fossil fuel-based heating system like I did, you can use the fossil fuel as your supplemental heat. I use propane, which is admittedly relatively expensive, but the heat pump is still cheaper right down to the point the propane furnace kicks in. If you use some other fuel type, you'll probably have to find your own balance point, especially if it's natural gas, which is one of the cheapest heating fuels you can get. So, that's heat pumps and how they work in only about 5 minutes. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and other topics ranging theology to science, please press the like button. subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.